We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. Hello. My name is Chelb. My pronouns are they, them, and this is Phasecraft Collective, your weekly check-in with the tarot to get the vibes, to check in with the energy, to see what is possible, what is available for the week to come. We are blasting into this week, just starting Taurus season, a season of embodiment and beauty and pleasure and sticking to your freaking guns, spending time inside, treating yourself, spending time outside, treating yourself. We love a Taurus moment. I'm a Taurus moon, so I truly feel at home and happy in Taurus season. We have a new moon coming up at the end of the week, and then next week we are into May. Whoa, wild. I feel like this transition between April and May, these last couple of weeks, really feels like spring is starting. Technically, we've been in spring since March, but you can really start to feel it a little bit more in the air. And maybe where you are, it's already in full bloom. But here in Minnesota, things sometimes take a little longer to get green. But I am looking out my window and the first buds are starting to burst on the tree right outside my window. So that's lovely. And speaking of spring and May, Beltane or Beltane, however you want to pronounce it, is coming up next week also. In the modern pagan calendar, we always celebrate it on May 1st. There's a couple different days you could celebrate it. April 27th is one of them. We will be doing, and by we I mean me and my divinity tier patrons, for whom this is a free workshop, our Beltane spell circle or Beltane spell circle on April 30th. So that is not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. And it's going to be great. These spell circles I do on every Celtic Fire Festival day. And then also, I was going to say also Yule, but I don't think I did one for Yule, so I take that back. But yeah, it's half history class, learning about Beltane, about how it's been celebrated throughout history, where it comes from, and then half spell circle. So we then all cast a spell together. We're doing individual spells, but we do it all together. I guide you through it step by step. For Beltane, we will be doing a spell for creative abundance and access to nourishment and flourishing of our mind and hearts and the garden of our lives. In history, Beltane is the start of summer, but climate, weather, life is just a little bit different than it was 1,000 years ago. So for us, May is still very staunchly spring, but it kind of invites in that really upbeat, direct, creative, earthy feeling. It's when we start to plant. It's when we begin to, see things flower, see things blossom. So if you're interested in coming to the spell circle, it will be April 30th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Central Time, virtual over Zoom, recorded and sent out within 24 hours. You can sign up at the link in the description, as always. So, anyway, should we look at some tarot cards? Should we see what is happening with us this week? If this is your first time with me, then hey, welcome. 4 minutes after I just started talking, of course. But we're going to take a few minutes here at the beginning to just do what's called casting container or casting a circle, to make sure that we are present and grounded and ready to receive the messages that come through the cards. So I'm going to close my eyes, and I invite you to do the same if it feels safe and good to do so. You can also just let your gaze settle down at your cheeks if that feels better. Or maybe let your eyes land somewhere else out in space where they can relax and soften. Just take a couple of breaths here. Feeling your shoulders rising and falling. Your rib cage expanding and softening. And just become aware of wherever you are making contact with the ground, with the earth. Whether it's through your feet on the floor, your seat in a chair, your back on your bed or your couch. Wherever you are anchored to what's beneath you, let your awareness land there. And feel yourself being held by gravity, supported by the earth. Knowing that you are present, you are in your body, you are here, you are grounded. You continue to feel this grounding weight as I call to the spirits and guardians of the elements. And as I name them, imagine their force, their essence, creating a circle of protection around you. You might see stones or plants or mushrooms rising up from the ground. You might see a ring of stones or fire or salt. Maybe the ground opens and fills with water. Whatever you see is right, is good. It's your magic and it's here for you. I call to the spirits and guardians of the north, of earth, of deepest roots in the tallest trees. The stardust that gave shape to this planet, into our bones, hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the east, of air, of wind and breath, of thought and change, hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the south, of fire, the life-giving sun, the powers of creation and destruction, cleansing and renewal, hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits and guardians of the west, of water, of the oceans and our blood, the rivers and our sweat, the rain and our tears, hail and welcome. We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. You can take a couple more breaths here. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I had to give a little giggle because as soon as I started casting, my sweet son Angus, who is a cat, walked right by the door doing his little trill, yelling, looking for me, or his dad, who was in the kitchen cooking dinner. But maybe I should see if he wants to come in and say hi before we get started. He is comfortably laying down just outside the door and was not interested in coming in to say hi, so we'll catch him another week. But let's see what the cards have to say. Let's get into this reading, this energy, and see what's possible. I am using the deck simply called Tarrochi by Mr. Friborg. If you don't know, Tarrochi is one of the games that was played with tarot cards in, Renaissance Italy. So that is what we have here. Already off to an interesting start. The Hanged One in the Tower. They're like, hello, I am here. Let's talk about going through some shit, shall we? But then framed by the 9 and 8 of Pentacles on either side. So there is a lot of effort in a current transition. The 9 of Pentacles, we frequently think of it as this, it's like the treat yourself card. It's the abundance card. It's the appreciation, the gratitude card. But it also speaks to using your experience to decide what you want to do next. it is taking stock and noticing all the ways in which you have grown and have moved through your hardships, your successes, what you've gained and why, and what you can now do with what you've gained. And then to see that with the Hanged One and the Tower, knowing that deciding what to do with your current level of expertise, your current, whoa, we lost a card. Oh, here it is. And it's Death. Death and the High Priestess right next to each other. Whoa, love that. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, deciding what to do with the things that you have now will likely put you through a period of dismantling and exploring what is available when you just take a moment to stop, to listen, to look. When instead of taking action, you allow events to unfold and happen to you. Sometimes we need to let things fully move and flesh out. Does that make sense? I think we're good with our cards here. I love this because we have both the King and Queen of Wands. They came out at we had the King for number 5 and the Queen for number 10. I really like that. Is that all? We got a few more in this flip over. I'm gonna put you all over here. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at these cards. So as I've been here just talking about the 9 of Coins, the Hanged One, the Tower. Maybe staying comfortable is keeping you from reaching the level of enlightenment and awareness that you need to survive the dismantling. There needs to be I would say a controlled, safe exploration of discomfort in order to recognize what exactly needs clearing. And then the task is to depart from it fully. It is to let those things truly come down. It is to release yourself from things that are keeping you held in comfort. What's that phrase? A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. And then 8 of Coins, King of Wands, High Priestess, Death. This 8 of Coins and King of Wands, I feel like we've been getting the balance of full expressions and expertise and solidity and knowledge and sense of self balanced with this student energy, this exploration energy, this newness. And that's kind of the 8 of Coins gives this you will know once you get through this Hanged One Tower situation. You will know where best to put your efforts, and deciding to do so in a way that expands and shows leadership and creativity will be the most beneficial and effective way to use those skills in the rebuilding that needs to be done after your tower moment, whatever it is. It's not about learning as much as it is about honing and saying, I already know how to do this, but how can I become one of the best at it? How can I become my best at it? And how can I do it in a way that benefits the people that interact with me? How can I do it in a way that really shows and shines and like opens up my soul to the potential of leading and leading by example? Your actions can have a ripple effect that don't put you on a pedestal, but shine a spotlight on you in a way that isn't intimidating, but is inspiring and driving and motivating. And through that, High Priestess Death, through that, you find your pathway to whatever your next evolution level. I don't really like to speak in hierarchies. Elevation, that's another hierarchy kind of thing. Whatever your next phase, whatever your next experience is with the divine self, meaning the self that knows and feels and experiences, and decides to devote to understanding and knowing that you may never understand, but that doesn't mean that it is not worth seeking. Allow yourself to be transformed by the idea that you don't know everything and that you never will, but that in itself is magic. And that in itself is part of like the shadow work that many people need to do. It's not about knowing. It's about seeking the knowledge. It's not about the end goal. It is about the process of getting there and finding it. And as you experience, as you search, as you seek, as you move through and discover new ways of being yourself, deeper connections to your inner worlds, your dreams, naturally, old ways of being, old stories of self, old images of self will pass, will die. But in death, there is always creation. That's what this is. This is creativity and figuring out how to really let things go to create space for what you now want to make. And then through all of that, we come out the other side with the 10 of Cups, with the 7 of Swords, and with the Queen of Wands. So knowing that in fulfillment, in like full power of creativity and knowing ourselves and feeling emotionally full, there will always be more to learn and explore. There will always be mysteries to uncover. And it's the balance of being aware and again, like strong in that sense of self and recognizing all the ways in which you have everything that you need. It's a balance of that and knowing that seeking more, that experiencing more, that looking more for what is hidden will always yield to greater expansion and experience. Let's talk about these 4 cards that fell out when I asked for more. Because it's a little... The Hermit. 5 of Cups. 2 of Swords. 9 of Cups. Again, I mean, the Hermit and the 2 of Swords especially, but then also this 5 of Cups. It is moving through this difficulty. And like learning to experience and look at and do something with quote unquote negative emotions, learning to sit with them and be with them and learn from them. That's that hermit. Doing the action of honoring and feeling and holding those emotions to find your way to what? More divine wisdom, but divinity of self, that self-assurance, that authentic self. That knowledge that is so deep that it can never be shaken. And then from there, I list this two of swords, and this 9 of cups. Reminding yourself that it is all parts of you that need to be involved in the expression of your outward expression. Your feelings, your shadow, your logic. You cannot separate them. They must all be integrated to move you out of a place of stasis and into a place of movement. And again, expansion. Like, expansion is really the word that just keeps coming up. And like purposefully staying in one state and not being aware of the ways in which you need to move. But deciding to move is the first step. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. Ace of Cups. If you choose to make your changes, to shift your perspective, to put in the work, to put in the gratitude, to accept that you will never stop seeking, then the abundance of your heart, the creative access and expression, the connection, the love, unconditional, that you seek, that you want, that we all want, it becomes available because you are open. Yeah. That's the reading. I forgot how much I love this deck. I haven't used it in a little bit. Cool. Wow. I don't really have anything else to say about that. So cool. Let's close our circle. I'm going to close my eyes again and invite you to do the same if it feels okay. Take a couple of breaths. And feel once again the weight of your body being held by gravity. Reimagine the elemental circle that you put up around yourself. Take a big deep breath in. And with your exhale, let your breath out release that circle. Scattering salt, dissipating air, extinguishing fire, sending water, stones, plants sinking back into the earth, opening the circle and releasing the energy. I send the energy of all those watching and listening back to them whole, complete, and intact. I take my energy back to myself whole, complete, and intact. May we remain friends, though our energies are no longer crossed, corded, or tangled at all, starting now. Take a breath, feel your energy settle into you, all yours. The circle is open, and so it is. Incredible. Thank you, friends. I hope to see you I'll see you next week, but I hope to see you in my Beltane spell circle, or just around here, there, anywhere. If you have questions, if you want to, I don't know, hit me up for something, why not? Ask me a question. Maybe I'll answer. My books are still closed for one-on-one readings, but that will be changing very, very soon. I'm making some adjustments to how my offerings work and exactly what I'm offering, but nothing too wild, so don't be concerned. But that's officially it. Okay. Thanks y'all so much, and I will see you next time.